The question many Kenyans are asking is a simple one, although it is pregnant with possible implications. And that question is, what is the real feeling? What is the reaction within the military over the passing on of their CGS, General Ogolla? And I'm sure some of you are aware that there are many rumors flying around. People are saying they are not happy. People are saying they are very angry over what has happened. So what is the truth? Well, my research culminated with communication just a few hours ago from a gentleman who, in my opinion, summarized it all very well. And I will come back to that in a bit. But first, the very interesting and, in my opinion, instructive reaction of Azimio. Now, of course, we all know that in politics, it is all about gaining the upper hand and flooring your opponent. And most Kenyans don't understand many times when an issue crops up and you expect politicians to speak about it. You expect politicians to say a lot about it, but then they remain mum, and people wonder why. Well, it is very simple. The issues are always very many, and so it is very important, like in many other areas of life, to pick your fights carefully, to pick your battles very carefully. You cannot get involved in every little battle if you want to win a war. And instead what you do is that you pick your battles carefully to ensure your victory in the overall war. And many times politicians pick a certain topic, and they are all over it because they have smelt blood. You know that English expression. In my opinion, it is super fascinating that Azimio did not react too quickly when this news broke. Of course, there were reactions from here and there, from Azimio leaders, but it was clear they were not going for the jugular over this issue. But now clearly that has changed. To be honest, with so many visible leaders from Luo Nyanza in Azimio, one would have expected an immediate, very emotional reaction. But that did not come until now. And for those who are still doubting, was this an accident or were there some fishy things behind it? For those who are doubting over that issue, now, with what Azimio are saying, there should be no doubt. Let us never forget that the main currency of a politician, do you know what it is? It is information. Politicians have information. And when they speak, they may not give all the information, but from what they say, you will easily be able to read between the lines and get a very good idea of the kind of information they have. Please, let's be clear on that before I say what I'm about to say. I think the position of Azimio was brought out most clearly in the remarks of Senior Counsel and also Member of Parliament for Arienda, Otiende Amolo. He said that an internal inquiry is good, but it may not bring out the truth. Now, if this was just a simple unfortunate accident, then an internal inquiry would have been adequate. There was this which was faulty, there was this which happened, and although an accident is unavoidable, this and that went wrong. Very simple. But Otiende Amolo is telling us that internal inquiry in this particular case may not bring out the truth. And so what is suggesting is a public judicial inquiry. Some are even suggesting a parliamentary select committee inquiry. Now both those two tools, if I can call them that, have been used before in Kenyan history. And in all cases, not in some, not in most, in all cases where these tools have been used, there's always been foul play. Yani, things were not what they seemed to be. And there are many, many examples. The former Foreign Affairs Minister, Cabinet Minister, Dr. John Robert Ouko, there was an inquiry. The helicopter crash over Gong Forest that took the life of Professor George Setoti and Oro Jode, there was an inquiry where something crazy happened. Wait for this one. It was revealed that the National Intelligence Service ordered for the findings of the 6 bodies from that crash to be kept confidential. Yeah. Now, why would they do that? Why? I think the answer is obvious. They were hiding something. And I can go on and on and on. There are many, many examples from the past where we've had public inquiries or a parliamentary select committee. By the way, probably the most famous parliamentary select committee case by far was that investigating the murder of former legislator, very popular man, J.M. Kariuki, where when the committee presented the report to President Jomo Kenyatta at State House, Nairobi, the president then asked the committee to delete the name in that report of Cabinet Minister Koinange, who was mentioned adversely in that particular report. And the committee had no option but to delete that name. But the point is, they got to the truth. They revealed a lot of information that would never have been known to the public otherwise. And so now we should be very clear about the kind of information that our politicians have on this very unfortunate incident that unfolded to a shocked nation at the border of Elgeyo Marakwet and West Pokot, that took away the life of General Ogolla and 9 others. And this is not something to debate. Clearly, the politicians have information that there was foul play. And there's more. This sinks the UDA Kenya Kwanza government deeper into a crisis. Let me explain. If they refuse, there will be a problem. If they agree, there will still be a problem. Because information available to the public will no longer be controlled by the government. And the only thing they can do is damage control as we go along. The same thing happened during the reign of Daniel Toroitich arap Moi, during the Ouko inquiry. And things got so bad, and the information flowing out to the public became too much for the government to do crisis control. So much so that the government was forced to abruptly stop the inquiry. Yani they said, this inquiry which the president started now has suddenly been stopped. No reasons were given, of course, but Kenyans knew. It is getting complicated by the day. And this is not good news for those people who may have wanted to control information and ultimately end up being as economical as possible with the truth. Now on to the reaction of the military. Now, My source started by saying that generals are supposed to be the most protected individuals in a country, any country, and therefore they don't die in accidents. No! And they're not killed. No way. And to understand the reaction of most of the military, the way they're looking at this is not from the point of view of an individual. No. It is the office. Chief of the Defense Forces. The office. 4-star general. Do you know, not everybody can be a 4-star general. It is a big deal. The CDF of a country and 4-star general is not a senior military official. No! And even if something goes wrong, the way you handle them is different. And they gave the perfect example. From Kenya's first ever African CDF, a man called Joseph Ndolo, Major General Joseph Ndolo. Major General Ndolo was implicated in a planned coup in the year 1971, alongside the then first African Chief Justice, a man called Kitili Mwendwa. And it is widely known that the regime of Jomo Kenyatta was brutal and ruthless. But what did they do? Was Major General Ndolo arrested? No. Was he involved in a fishy accident? No. He was allowed to retire peacefully. And a super fascinating aside here is that Jomo Kenyatta never ever appointed another Chief of General Staff, today's CDF, until his death in 1978. Ndolo was the last one. Until 1978, when the new president, Daniel Toroitich arap Moi, appointed General Jackson Kimeu Mulingi to that prestigious title. And General Ndolo enjoyed his retirement until 1984, when he passed on. Generals don't die in office. Generals are not involved in fishy accidents while in office. Indeed, my source said something that at first I found strange. He said that our friends are laughing at us. They're wondering what is happening. What a shame. What a mess. And I understood this to mean that the ways of the military are the same all over the world. And these people have colleagues in other countries. And those colleagues are looking at what is happening in Kenya. And they're saying, yeah. What is this? Now, while still on Ndolo, it is important to note that in 1969, a few things happened in Kenya that would have caused people to ask, what is the reaction of the military? And this was the assassination of Tom Boer. Now, Tom Boer was very close to the military and also popular with the military. And this is one of the reasons why somebody felt he had to be gotten rid of. You see, in 1964, there was a very serious mutiny at the Lanette Barracks. I'm sure we know what a mutiny is. Rebellion of soldiers, which is dangerous in any country. And as fate would have it, the man who was at the forefront of quelling that mutiny was a civilian, Tom Boer. And I don't want to say anything. Instead, I'll ask you a question. In your opinion, do you think that there's a link between the assassination of Boer in 1969 and General Ndolo in 1971 being involved in a coup plot? Do you think, in your opinion, that there's a link? Please allow me to leave it there. Now, that was then, and it involved a civilian. But today, the issue involves a very well-loved general who was the CDF. Folks, that cannot be a comfortable situation for any country. Just a quick reminder before I go, my highly sensitive special report that focuses on what unfolded at Elgeyo Marakwet County in relation to the demise of General Ogolla is still available, but will soon no longer be available, and therefore you have to make your decision fast. For only Kenya shillings 4,999 or $37, you'll be able to get not only this special report, but all my previous highly sensitive special reports as well, that unleash information that is moto kuliko pasi ya makaa. Use the information you see on your screens right now, or you can even shoot me an email using the email address you see on your screens, youmissthis@gmail.com, for any clarifications that you may require. Until next time, this is Chris Kumekucha.